Okay, let's go ahead and get things started here. Next thing I need to work on is a little countdown clock. Oh, this is fun. Got the camera basically right where, right in my camera or webcam view. I mean, not that you need to see me, but maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you want to see me. So let's see. If my hands are right here, this guy has to come up a little bit like this. Hands are right here. Okay, you're gonna get a nice close up of my hands. They're I have big hands. I don't know what that means. All right, it is time for the build. And look at that gut. Oh, that big old gut. The box number 2 build for the Millennium Falcon. Here's what's cool: is box number 1 just came with sets number 1 and number 2. But box number 2 comes with 4. Count them. We get 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have four sets of things we're going to be building today. As with all of these, the issues come with really cool information about other ships in the Star Wars universe. This one has the T-65 X-Wing fighter. We'll talk a little bit about those. Just a little bit of it. Now, here's something that's kind of cool. This one has kind of behind the scenes of the cockpit control panels as they were used in the film. And so you get information about how the set designers came up with the look for the controls, the cockpit controls, and even what some of them do. So, for example, this page actually shows you what the cockpit controls. Some of them have like little markers to tell you what they handle, like the nav computer is the top left, the reinforced bulkhead in the middle there, data slot, hyperdrive systems, etc. Which is really, really cool. All right, so we've got our parts list and our assembly guide for the next issue. And as always, we get a little diagram showing where these parts are going to be going. Pretty much everything we're working on is right by the tunnel that goes to the cockpit. So, got our screwdrivers. The new screws don't seem to be magnetic, which is kind of a bummer because that's a really handy way to like keep things all together. But hey, what are you going to do? All right, so that's box number 5. Got kudos to D'Agostini for figuring out how better to label these. This one actually has a big 005 on it. The old Iron Man ones were a lot more, a lot tinier, so it was really hard to find the parts you were looking for with certain issues, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, something I can do is definitely raise up the camera. That's something I'll make note of for next time. Get up a little bit higher. Also, no, I've got a listener or a viewer here. Let me know, volume-wise, how's the music level compared to my voice? Looking on screen, it looks like the sound levels should be nice and low for the music, but do you still hear it? I don't hear it in the room here, which is why I ask. All right, we're going to very carefully remove the pieces and parts. This is the one thing that I wish they would kind of give you a little bit better way to do, although kind of whether it's accidental or not, they have some weird kind of goo in here that doesn't seem to be much of a help. I think what we'll do is what we did last time, which is very carefully cut the plastic as opposed to going through the back where the cardboard is, because we're going to end up with a lot less control over what things get cut, and here we can kind of control that a lot better. All right, cutting into it, getting our pieces out. As with last time, we can kind of just pull out the tray that's got all the items on it. If I cut enough of this, which it looks like I didn't quite do. Did most of it though. I have a couple of, looks like the back seats, the jump seats. and what looks like a bathtub, but I know is the bulkhead that goes in the middle. It looks like we've got a door, a couple seats, the walkway that goes to the thing, to the cockpit, and a couple of metal steering controls. Neat. All right, let's get to it. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we're going to be taking the cockpit bulkhead that we built last time, and we're going to be adding the sticker for the cockpit door, and then putting the sticker inside the door recess and smoothing it into place. Let's start with that. Let's get our piece from last time. Here's our little cockpit wall. All the diagrams and stuff like that on there. And then we've got our sticker. Again, highly recommend picking up one of these, like it's a little sewing light. This guy right here. Makes things so much easier. It's got a light and a big magnifier on the front. And makes it really easy when you're working with small parts to not miss them. And to see exactly what you're doing. Okay, there we go. I always got to check and make sure the area where I'm most going to be working with my hands and where the parts are is fully in view of the deal. All right, so we put the door sticker in the back. The kind of cool thing about this is that it's really hard to mess this thing up. I'll find a way, but it's really hard to mess this thing up since there's a very specific shape to this guy. So really, you know, once you get it in there, it really just kind of easily descends into place. Piece of cake. And then we're going to take this guy and drop him in here, fit the door into the hole on the bulkhead, goes in through the top, and then you just kind of slide it back. It's a very nice, oh, very satisfying little click to it at the end. So there we go. There is the back wall of the Millennium Falcon. And we just want to make sure that everything matches up and it looks great. And it does. All right. We've also got our cockpit seat area. We did this last time. Last episode of the stream. Looks like things have moved, shifted a little tiny bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. I can just repress that down. Repress it. All right. When you're looking at it from the top, the black and white seats are going to go on the back. This is where the passengers would sit. C-3PO, Princess Leia, etc., etc. Oh, yep. And if you press too hard, the thing pulls apart. They're just on a little stand. No screws on this part, unfortunately. It'd be nice to actually have something that kind of screws in. So, you know, once you get them seated, no pun intended, they are on. And I just noticed actually that once you get them seated, you can slide them back, and it gives it a little bit of a firmer grip because there's like a C shape going on to a tab. Okay, there we go. There's our back seats. We're going to repeat that process with our front seats. Personally, I think the front seats first would have been a better option, but maybe not, because a lot easier to work with that area if you don't have the seats behind them. Okay. Han and Chewie's seats now added. Very simple pressed together deal on this one. And we have our, oh wow, we have a couple very tiny pieces. Just notice these guys in this little baggie. These guys are going to go on the sides. Oh, there's a little nick, a little tear that I guess I'm supposed to use instead of scissors. Cool. Nifty. All right. Oh, these guys are teeny tiny. Look at how tiny these guys are. These guys are going to go in the little tiny holes just in front of the control panel. So there's one here and one here, and so we're going to put each of those in there. This might be a good use for tweezers in this case, because these guys, like I said, are really, really tiny. And I have big fat fingers that are going to have a really hard time putting these in place. I'm going to try with my big fat fingers first and just see. God, even with the magnifying thing, yeah, my fingers just kind of get in the way. There's like, again, as a thought, if you got this set, I'm just going to try something and see if it makes sense. It looks like it might be a lot easier to put these guys in. Oh, well, that's a problem. The hole's a little molded over with plastic, so it actually, without going too much, just want to kind of bore it out a little bit with an X-Acto knife. You could also probably use an awl to do it, but you might need to bore that hole out just a little bit more. Jeez Louise. Yep. Alright, who had Brian loses a control stick part on their bingo card? Well, good news is I didn't lose it. But, yeah, without the front seats in there, this guy's a lot easier to put in. So I would recommend taking the front seats, or not putting the front seats until after you do these first two controls. And you know what, we'll even try the second controls. We'll do one of them. It's another small metal piece. This is the rudder. Is it the rudder? It's the thing that controls X and Y and all that. And it goes in with the very gently put it in, because this one's metal. Wiggling it back and forth actually seems like a good way to do it. And then, yeah, then way easier to put the seat in after you do that. Because believe me, you'd be bumping into that seat with your hand anyway and probably knocking the seat loose. So I'd recommend putting in all the little metal parts first and then doing the seat afterwards. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side, on the Navigator side, or Chewy's side. How funny. The side that I didn't bore out, that's probably the throttle. The throttle came loose. Oh, actually the throttle, give it a little extra push in, because there's a thicker part of the metal shaft that goes into the plastic for the throttle. And that is what keeps things from falling out, or at least helps keep things from falling out. It still might not be enough. Alright, get that guy in there. We'll put in the last seat. And voila, we have our cockpit with our control sticks, our seats, front and back, and the two throttles, which you can rotate to have them be in the appropriate spot for Han and Chewy to grab hold of them. No idea yet if this thing comes with little miniature Hans and Chewies, but hopefully it does. Alright, last piece is this guy right here, but since I don't see any additional screws or frame pieces, I'm wondering if we're even going to attach this to anything this issue. We'll take a look. Next page. Nope, that's it. So the this ends with the cockpit being built. I'm guessing if we look at the thing, the second piece of the hull plating fits together the first piece you received. You'll be assembling this together with the metal frames that support it in a later issue. So that's probably time for our later issue. Let's get to issue number 4. This one talks more about the X-Wing. Cool. And it talks about the hull frames and painting of the original models, the original 1970s, but it's also the one with Ray and BB-8 and older Harrison Ford. The layered structure of the hulls and the airbrushing and stuff. Really fascinating stuff that I cannot wait to dive into and read. Kind of cool. Okay, new parts. We're basically going to be completing the cockpit console. Let's get issue 5. So remember when I raved about the pieces that they send and where they all go and all that sort of thing? I might have to take that back, because even though this says 5 on it, this does not match the parts list of what I got for issue 5. So I think that 5 is a completely different, has a completely different number, completely different use. These are the parts for 5, and as you can see, nowhere on here does it tell you it's 5. So basically you just have to look at that first page of the assembly manual and figure out where things go. All right. I'm doing a big cut this time to make it easier to pull everything off. Nicely done. We separate the lower tray from the upper tray. We should get all these pieces. Lots of screws. I have something to show off this time. Okay, we have a couple of new frame pieces here. These two guys right here. We have a little plastic panel of some sort. Got a couple more of these fun little waffle screw plates. Those hold, when you're putting the frame together, you use a combination of these screws and those waffle plates to put things together. And that's it. All right, let's see what we do here. We're going to be completing the cockpit console. Basically, it's just one more part. We're taking that little plastic panel and we're putting it in place in the very front. So basically up here in the very front of our little cockpit. Isn't that cute, little cockpit? That's so awesome. So this guy, 2 little tabs on there, match up with those 2 little tabs. Wow, and it just really satisfyingly presses into place. Looks like there's only one way you can do it, with the flat side up and the round side down. And the front of the cockpit is now complete. We're going to set that guy aside. And now we'll work on the frame pieces. We're extending the whole frame. So last time on the channel, we built this guy. Let's get this up a little bit more here. So we built this guy with the part of the hull, and then basically this heavy metal framework. These pieces are actually, I mean, they're pretty impressively heavy, which is cool. So we're going to be lining up part 3, which is this guy right here, up with the existing parts. And this is an interesting one because it looks like it goes, we'll go down here. It's got to go under a couple pieces and over a couple pieces. Oh, fun, 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 actually. You can lift up, there's still some play on the parts as they move, so you can lift up the parts and line things up. So there we go. We're going to attach, let's see, what are we doing first? We're going to do one black fixing screw. again, something I really liked about the Iron Man build was that they had numbers for the screws. So you had like, oh, those guys went all over the place. That's okay. That's all right. And there's a good reason that I'm okay with the fact that these little Hummers went all over the place. But the Iron Man build had these cool little baggies with like a JM printed on it and the screw inside the little baggie. Very handy, so you can say, oh, I need another, I lost this other JM, I need another JM screw. Not so much with these guys. And also these screws, actually, they weren't magnetized or magnetic in the last issue, but they're in this one, so that's cool. Oh, hey, Wabbit Magic. Did you not get a notification? I would have hoped you would have gotten a notification. Okay, so it says oh, interesting. The last issue actually didn't put this piece on. Yeah, actually, it's funny. That's not affixed still yet, so it's really just a matter of putting these guys on. No wonder it was a little more of a pain in the butt to put those guys. All right, so we've got that. What are we connecting here? Let's orient things the way they have them in the magazine. Basically, it's having me do, well, having me do one fixing screw. Fixing screw at point A in the diagram, which is okay, right there, but don't tighten it fully yet. All right, so we're basically just putting one in one of the corners of the little waffle right there, the little waffle plate there. Just want to get it to where it's holding it. Okay, but not tightened yet. Use 2 fixing screws to secure TF6 to the spare holes in the 4-hole connector at point B. Do not tighten them fully. All right, so we're basically going to be attaching screws here, but not tightening them as well. Just basically making sure everything connects first. Oh man. This is one of those situations where the tip of the screwdriver is almost too pointy. Let's use, we're going to try the Iron Man screwdriver. Oh, that one fits so much better. Yeah, Iron Man we're going to use for the Millennium Falcon build until further notice. Alright, same situation. Basically just put it in enough to where it holds it, but not enough to be tight. And we attach that guy. Might need to actually do a little pressing on it just to get a connection to the, there we go, to the place where the screws into. Which it's still not, doesn't seem to be making a connection. Ah, there we go. Now it is. Okay. But also didn't tighten it fully. Take a 4-hole connector, our guy's right here, and line it up. Line up with the assembly point C as shown over here on the right side. And we figured out last time that it's way easier to get a screw through this thing first, then put it over the part you're screwing. Get things lined up and going in the right place. And then, as opposed to trying to hold the waffle on the exact right spot. So we basically get that screw started. Come on. There we go. We can then put the waffle more in place. All right, and then we take our other screw and put it in place. Yep. It's one of those times, if you don't line things up perfectly and get that screw into the right place the first time you do it, or at the first shot, then you end up bumping it and it just goes in the wrong place or starts moving around. Let's get it through the little waffle first, and then we start getting it into the hole in the frame. Use 2 screws to secure the connector across the joint between the frames. Position part 2 whole frame against the framework as shown. So this guy is going to go here. So basically completing the hole right there. We're going to be 2 fixing screws to secure the connector at point D. Okay. Right there on the edge. It doesn't say it, but it does say it for another piece, not too fully tightened yet. I'm going to hold this guy up and do the screws here so I have a little bit more control. Make sure things line up. Let's push that guy through, and then we'll line it up with the hole. Sure we will. Sure we will, Brian. Sure. There we go. Gosh, felt that one. Felt that screw connector slide right into the place it needed to be, although, God, you look at it and it does not look like it's in the right place, but it totally is. There we go. Yeah, as you're doing this, just make sure that the other pieces aren't in the wrong spot as far as the wrong piece under the piece it connects to, because that was pushing this thing up a little bit out of the way. All right, those are in, not tight. Probably going to be putting one at point A. I don't like this whole point A, point B business, but I guess, because it seems like they should put letters on here. It's both Brett Hull and Bobby Hull. It's both hockey players. Okay. Use another fixing screw, fit the second connector at point E as shown. All right, so we have our second waffle. We're going to be attaching our second waffle. There we go. And as always, screw through the waffle first, and then push waffle and screw into the right location. Hope it stays long enough for you to get a screwdriver into position, which I did. And that's in the right spot. Line up the other hole of the waffle. Lab of Magic, I'm glad. I'm just glad you're here. Just glad somebody was watching live, because I know this thing's, almost made more for people to watch later on at their convenience, but nice having live viewers. All right, we're gonna just make sure everything's tightened. Oh, well, let's make sure. Let's wait for them to tell me that. All right, second connector. Tighten all the screws just enough to hold the frames firmly. Good. Okay, let's do all that now. It's really a matter too of like, all right, which screws were new in this section, or I mean, which plates, which frame pieces were new. Good. Good. These guys down here. That's good. That's good. Hey, Rabbit Magic, how's the music level? I meant to ask you when I saw you pop in. Connect there. Connect there. That's nice and firm from last time. It's also good from last time. That's good from last time. Good, okay. Low but audible. Okay, let me move it up a little bit. Tell me when it's a good... We'll go the halfway mark and see if it's... How's that? Better? Is that better? Better. Okay, good. All right, next up is fitting the hull plating. So we're finally going to be actually attaching these hull pieces. Looks like they go on like so. How cool is that? That is just so dang cool. Nice. We're going to be attaching these onto the frame that we did. And looks like we're going to be starting... Oh, okay. Now, hold on a sec. Now, before I even get to that, right here you can see I've got an extra fixing screw. All right, see that? Last weekend, went to Walgreens and for $11 picked up this little pill dispenser thing. And it actually had, on each of these individual ones, it had Sunday morning, lunch, dinner, bedtime, like written on all these. I used a Dremel here, used my handy dandy Dremel tool to take off all the lettering. So what I'm going to do is put a little thing up here that says fixing screws. Wow. Interesting observation here. The fat Sharpie. Oh, no kidding. Those will wipe off with alcohol? Come on, really that easily? Oh, jeez. Well. We'll see how easily we'll see how easily the fat Sharpie wipes off with alcohol, because that is darn near illegible, and I should have used a fine tip Sharpies. So let's do that. I do need a fine tip. Oh yeah, good. Fat Sharpie wipes off just fine with alcohol. All right. Let that dry for a second, but basically I'm going to be taking my fixing screws. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to start over here because here's what's kind of cool about this deal, by the way. These little green tabs let you pop out the individual pill containers. So really, you know, we're going to start out just writing them on these 4, and then I doubt we're going to have 28 different different types of screws in this thing. We had 28 different types of screws in the Iron Man thing, and I actually still have all those. So I'm going to probably put those in here as well. Listen, I know there's going to be tons of inadvertent nasty talk as I do this build, talking about fine tips and shafts and things like that. All right, let's try writing fixing screws with a more finer tip. Oh yeah, this is, there we go. Fixing screw. Not as dark as I would like, but I think I actually have some other deals I can use for that one. So it does remind me of the who was the actor? Oh, it was Phil Hartman who did the pedantic chef, or no, the anal retentive chef on SNL. All right, such a great bit, and sometimes I swear I feel like I'm I feel like I'm him when I do stuff like this. It's like, well, I really want my screws to be kept in a very organized place. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. We're going to... Let's see which one. It looks like it's this guy is the first one that's getting attached right here onto the frame. And he goes on here like so and matches up with a ton of little tiny circular holes in here. You can see these guys right here is, you know, a pair of them right there. And really, gosh, this thing just snaps right into place. I like that. I like not having to try and hold things up to match them. Kind of weird. This piece did not want to go on. We're going to try and put that piece on first and then match up the other piece. Actually a break in the metal, but the rest of this should hold it on. Let's pop this guy off and do that piece absolutely first. There we go, and then try and get everything else on based on location of that one. There we go. Yeah, I was just talking about what a satisfying feeling it is to press these on and have them just go right into place. And yeah, it's a very firm connection. Giggity. Gonna have a lot of giggity this episode. Okay. Fix the plating with the silver screws supplied. They cut their own threads, so be careful not to over tighten them. Okay, good to know. So these are basically like little drills. Drills with Phillips heads on them, basically. I'm going to put them in, and I'm just going to stop when I get enough pressure that I know these things are going to stop. Demonetized. Great. I have a third screwdriver. Let's see if this one's any better than the other two for this sort of thing. These, like it's... Oh yeah, third screwdriver seems to be the best of the bunch. I say that. And again, do that little thing where I bump the side of it. Really has to be... Yeah, the screwdriver they supply, let's see if these are better than the fixing screws in the screwdriver they supply. The screwdriver tip on, like the one they supply, has a very, almost a too sharp tip, but it's not something I feel like I want to like file down, obviously. These silver screws, unlike the black ones, not magnetic. So Eric Lyncher would have a little bit of an issue with these. I'm going to take that back. Minorly magnetic. Let's go firmly. Screw that in, but again, just tight enough to hold it in place and not tight enough to go any further and have it start stripping or anything. Let's see if I can put them in place with my thumb and then screw it from there. Actually, that's not a bad idea. It goes in much better. Now, this is, again, that screwdriver. We're going back to the Tony Stark screwdriver. It appears to be the best screwdriver. I hate to say, you know, sign up for the Iron Man thing. You could actually sign up for Iron Man issue 1, get this awesome screwdriver, and then cancel. And what's cool is I think you still, in issue 1 or box 1 of the Iron Man build, you almost fully build his head. So you buy box 1, you get the really good screwdriver, the really good Tony Stark screwdriver, and then you get the Iron Man helmet, and then you cancel. You did not hear me these guys aren't sponsors, so I shouldn't be afraid of saying stuff like this, but I would like them to consider sponsoring me and my channel. D'Agostini. Hey, if nothing else, I'm telling people to buy the Iron Man set. All right, screw number 6 of 8. Bada boom, bada bing. And what are we going to call these? These are, they just call them the silver screws. Issue 1 is me trying to like put it into the, let the screw carefully land in the right spot and hope that I can screw it in from there. Good luck. Okay. Alright, and then finally one last one of these, and we do have one one leftover screw. We'll call that I guess we'll just call it the silver screw. You know, now that I think about it, I'm going to pull out issue 1 again and take a look, because I think they actually tell you all the different screws you're going to be using in the build. Looking at your model, tells you what it comes with. Blah blah blah. The poster. Technical specifications, the turret, blah blah blah. How funny. This issue came with fixing screws that are gold. Issue 1 did. So, here we go. I knew there was a thing. So they actually have a little guide down here on the bottom that tells you all the different screw types. So there are going to be 6 different screw types. That's good to know. Brass 3mm, silver self-tapping. Alright, so we'll just call those silver screws, I guess. Don't want to write the entirety of self-tapping. Let me see if I've got it better. Double F5. The largest of these is M3, I believe. Let's see how this guy looks. Yeah, alright. All right, cool. Oh, lost audio and main pick only? Oh, no, I think it's just because I stepped out of the room. Let me make sure my audio. Yeah, it's just because I stepped out of the room to get a fine point pen. All right. Okay, silver self. So now I've got labels on all these. Hey, let's put our silver self-tapping screw in there. I know at some point I will probably lose one, so it'll be nice to have an extra backup. Okay, cool. That is it for this issue. Let's get to yeah, there's no place to attach the other part of the hull, but it does say you can try it, just see how it looks. But it's gonna look awesome. Looks super cool. Look at that. That is the continuation of the hull. Really cool. Okay, what are we building now? The next issue. Oh yeah, so it's got the Corellian Engineering Corporation, so, and the logo for the Corellian talks about the different ships that the Corellians made. Official variants of the Millennium Falcon, that's kind of cool. Look at all the different variants. Loki probably flies one of those. Talks about the smuggling compartments of the Falcon. Nice, the dimensions. And now we're getting to the 05 bag. Okay. Bag 5. And you know what? This is my fault. I misread. That was issue 4 that we just did, so of course that wouldn't match up with bag 5. So they did get the right bag numbers and stuff. My mistake. Alright. Nothing else in there, no extra screws that I don't want to lose. We have a couple more instrument panels. We have this guy, yeah, and then this guy, yeah, so those are going to connect together. Won't do it just yet, even though I want to. And here's something really cool. So we have a couple more of the self-tapping screws, it looks like, indeed. And then we have LEDs! Woo! Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, we're going to be assembling lights. Nothing to connect the lights to just yet, but we will soon. Okay, so let's take out our light package. That's going to be the first thing. We're basically going to be, the lighting panel has 6 LEDs that glow and connected to a battery. You will receive the battery box and lead for testing the lights with issue number 9. So lights will not be functional until issue number 9, which 789 will be in the next box. Cool. We're going to be taking this and attaching it to the back of this right here. Looks like it's going to go on here like so. Oh, and that's cool. So that just basically, to give you a little example of what that's going to look like. Simple light panel, do I? This is going to be too bright if I do this guy right here, I think. But yeah, that's how it's going to light up. Pretty cool with all the LEDs. Alright. Gives you enough of an idea what that's going to look like. So, we take it, we put it on the back of this guy right here. Like so. Perfect. And then we're going to use one of these fixing screws, or I'm sorry, the self-tapping silver screws to attach it. And looks like we have another spare screw, so that will go in the pillbox. Voila. Okay. Done. Got our extra screw. Doesn't look like we use it yet, but I'm going to keep it out here just in case. Alright, we've got our 2 panels here that go on the sides of the cockpit. Looks like they go with the... They're basically going to go... Oh, cool. They're going to go right in there like that. Alright. So, wow, they really just snap right into place. Although there's not much of a good, like a good clicky snap. And I'm worried about turning this thing upside down because these guys, these two throttles are still really wiggly, and this panel that I screwed last issue now all of a sudden doesn't line up with the dots and is like coming apart. Not great adhesive on these, but fortunately I'm a modeler, and so I have stuff that I can use to fix this. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to glue the rudders in place. Does that make me nervous? A little tiny bit, but not a lot. I'm going to take the control panel off because I'm going to glue that guy on separately. And I'm going to use pliers or tweezers to pull that guy out. These tweezers have gotten a little bit bent. Let's see if I can fix them real quick. There we go. Cool. Tweeze. Gotta have something that tweezes. My tweezers don't tweeze. Okay, we pull that guy out. Gonna put a little tiny dollop of glue on the bottom of the unit itself, because I don't want to actually have it on the plastic. So I can make sure that it does make a connection. And come on. There's a little dried glue on this guy. I thought I cleaned it off really well last time I used it. There we go. Make sure I get yep, I see glue coming up the top of that. A little tiny little bit. I'm just going to put a little tiny, not even a drop, but a little tiny little minuscule amount. We're going to very carefully put it into its little spot. We're going to turn it the way it needs to be turned, and we're going to let that glue dry. In the meantime, God, I almost need to do it for these chairs too. These chairs are wobbly. I mean, it's a whole bunch of things. It's a lot of things right here. We're going to apply that same glue here. I'm a little more nervous. A little more nervous about the control panel, because the control panel actually has did get glue on my finger. The control panel has little tiny holes that are going to be for a whole different set of lights that need to go in the right place. Alright, got that guy in the right place. We'll let the glue settle on that son of a gun. I brought out another handy dandy toothpick because I'm going to use that with this adhesive. Just going to put on just enough adhesive to make things connect. I don't want it to be crazy goopy, but I do want it to connect. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to put it in place. Oh, and guess who has a lot of glue on their thumb now? What has two thumbs, one of which has a lot of glue on it. Okay, and let's just make sure those holes all line up. They appear to just fine. I can kind of move things a little bit with my thumb to make sure they stay lined up. Looks good. So apparently there is an LED that'll go back there at some point, I guess. That seems odd because there isn't one yet. Alright. No worries. Okay, so now we got those in place. We got stuff glued that needs to be glued. And now we're going to attach these guys. They go around the curve of the panel. They don't, my gosh, push fit the tabs into the matching spots on the cockpit base. They just go in. They don't click or anything. Real easily fall out. While I've got Mr. Glue here, I'm going to put a little bit of that on here as well. I hope I don't regret this, not knowing if we ever need to pull these guys off to put in a metal, like a little LED control panel. I'd hate to find out later on that I needed to keep that there. I'm going to do the same with the other side. A little tiny bit of glue. Otherwise, these things would just fall right out. I didn't. I usually remember to press fit, make sure something fits before I put any glue on it, in case something needs to get trimmed. I didn't do that in this case, but fortunately things worked out. Alright, so side panels now on there. The cockpit is just looking really, really sweet, folks. Look at that. And then this guy will eventually go right behind it like so, and the Millennium Falcon cockpit will be done. Maybe even this issue or this recording, who knows. Any other pieces in this one? Yep, oh yeah, of course, our two halves. Lower half of the tube has 9 molded pins, which fit into 9 matching sockets on the top, and then the press the two halves. These parts must not be glued together, so really it's just, they just provide these. We're not really going to be doing anything with them just yet, but they do tell you that, they do attach, and you can just put them together to see what it's going to look like. That's kind of cool. There we go. So that's going to go together like so. Sweet. This guy will go in here, like so, and then the cockpit will be assembled. Okay, final issue of this build, number 6. Let's see what we got in issue 6. Oh yeah, we'll put our screw away. That's another self-tapping silver. Bob, join your friend. Join your friend in there. Keep that over here for right now, in case there are some that come with issue 6. And issue 6 talks about the Robo Alliance. Oh, the UT-60D U-Wing. Don't often hear about the U-Wing. It's flown by Patrick U-Wing. It's horrible. It's really horrible. This one also talks a lot about the hologram table, which is really cool. We do have that in this build. We'll be doing a separate part. Alright, so this issue is going to have cockpit exterior, a lot of stickers and control levers. Let's get to it. And no screws in this issue, so everything in this issue is pressed to fit. Here's a sprue with all of our pieces on it. lots of cockpit panels, lots of doodads and knickknacks and all that sort of thing. Wow. Can't wait to see how we use all these. Oh yeah, another sprue with like some cool model parts. Okay, and then the tip part of the cockpit, sticker panel, ring, so much stuff. Let's get to it. The plant-on details. Let's see, part 12 is a sprue containing 11 small components that will be used to add extra details to the exterior hull plating in areas like shown above. Keep the sprue safely until it is time to separate the details and glue them onto the hull. So we technically won't be using that right now. This part right here is the part that goes around the holographic chess table. So we'll actually be using this with issue 7, adding the seat cushions and stuff like that. So we'll have that the next issue. Take the upper and lower halves of the cockpit shell, fit the 4 locating lugs into the matching sockets. Alright, just like that, we are putting this guy together. Lug, socket, socket. Cool. Holding the halves together, press the front window into place, lining up the recessed areas. So there's one on top, one on bottom. In case you're not a fan of the deal, the top and bottom go basically like this. If you're not a Star Wars nerd like me. Holding the cockpit together. Okay, is that in there now? That's in there now. Nice and solid. Nope, it's not. Fell right apart. Really have to be able to hold 11 things together to put this guy, to assemble this guy. Now the ring is going to go and kind of do a better job of holding all this stuff together. There's a fat tab right here. And basically you just want to make sure that things line up correctly. You know what? I have a feeling we can put that guy on afterwards. Hope I'm not wrong. I do have this backwards. That guy right there. Does that match up? That does match up. Okay, that holds those guys together. Now let's see if we can put the front ring in. We can, and then it looks like actually or we can push the front ring right all the way through. Yeah, good. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, front ring kind of staying put. It's like the, yeah, there may need to be, I'm going to wait on gluing any of this stuff because I think this part might come apart later on. But the, this front little window really wants to pop out. It's not a great setup. Like if I let go, I mean you can even see that that it's super loose in here. Like it it's just not gripping the way it should. There's no yeah, this is it just won't stay put. It's not great. I'm worried about doing any sort of glue on this part because again, this might need to come apart later on. The back half stays together really well, which is good because we're actually going to put the the passage tube together, although they tell you to put the passage tube together, but we know that it's funny, it tells you to put the cockpit shell together and put it over the thing, but then it also tells you to put the cockpit in there. It's really just to temporarily assemble it and just show you how things go together. Okay, nifty. So really, we'll just temporarily look at this and say, oh yeah, that's cool. So this guy will snap together like so. And then goes on and match up the pieces, etc., etc. Oh, it has to be this. This one doesn't have the same tabs and things on the outside, like it has one tab, I guess one tab to get things lined up, but I don't want to break anything, so I'm just going to kind of put it together like so and say, there we go. It's not fully connected right here, but we'll just set that aside because it doesn't look like we do anything more with that. That'll go over here. That'll go over here with it. These guys will get attached in a later issue, as will this. Okay, so we'll set all of those guys over there in that tray. Now we're going to be working with the two instrument panel stickers and this guy. So we've got, locate the two ribs on each of the three instrument panels. These go towards the rear of the cockpit. Lay the instrument panels out like that with the ribs downwards. Align the two instrument panels as shown. So they go like this. This also has the ribs. The ribs! And then these guys go like this. So this is how they tell you in the book to splay these all out so that you don't screw something up. Part of the sticker will overhang the end of the main arch. This piece is designed to stick onto the flat panel on the lower instrument panel. Make sure you line up the ribs indicated, the yellow arrows. So, take the first sticker, test fit it before removing the backing paper. This piece right here. The upper end aligns with the center of the main arch, and the white lines indicate the joints between the flat panels. So it's basically going to go here like so, inside. Yeah, so that matches up, kind of. Okay. The thin white lines match up. The thick white line doesn't quite match up, but the thin one does, and that's good. No, because then that doesn't overhang. So really it's going to be more like this. Okay. So it's like this so that you've got the part that overhangs. Oh, this will be fun to put together. Okay. I want to see a finished product of this sticker thing because it's yeah, that does line up. Okay. Okay. Yep. That is correct. All right. The adhesive they use on their stickers is a little bad. It doesn't hold as well as it should. And all right, so this one, basically, this guy goes right in the crook there. Yeah, it doesn't hold as well as it should, because as we saw with this piece I did today, he says as he pulls it apart to realign things. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a gap, because if I don't, the white dividers won't match up. There we go. Now the white dividers match up. Good, so that those come up. Alright. Cool. Good. And then this guy. It's kind of funny that the only thing really holding this guy on is the sticker. Like, basically the sticker is what's holding these two plastic parts together. Kind of weird. Don't get it. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Same kind of thing. Enough of a gap in there so that the lines will match up. That one lines up beautifully. Okay, good. And then working our way to the outside, that matches up nicely. And then again connects to the inside of this. I'm gonna butt that up against it first, and then the sticker will go in. So this guy will go probably over the top. I'm assuming it's going to kind of go like this with the inside that the shell over here. All right. Push with the locating pins. Okay. Oh, so those things aren't for LEDs. They're going to be for all these guys. So, holy smokes. We got a lot of tiny little pins and things that are going to be going in here. Wow. Lots of tweezer action. Hot tweezer action. And we'll see how well these guys fit in if I feel like I'm going to need to use a little bit of glue. You might find it safer to wait until you're gluing the rest of the interior together to do this part. I am going to wait because, yeah, putting these in and then losing them when they fall out, inevitably fall out, does not feel like something I want to do. And then cockpit assembly, yeah. So it gives us this little thing that says you can try and put things together, but you're not really going to put anything together until issue 7. So, I mean, here's what I'd like to do. Let's do this because it would be kind of cool to see how this all looks together. Yeah, there you go. There's the cockpit with the inside of the Millennium Falcon, and poop. Fortunately, folks, everything's fine. How are you? I may want to glue these chairs in because the chairs were the parts that fell off. Everything else stayed put, including the stuff that I already glued in. Just wanted to see what it would look like, man. Yeah, we'll glue those chairs in when things are ready to get glued. But they give you all, it's kind of funny, they give you all these like, hey, you can play with these parts and see what they look like when they're eventually put together, but, you know, but you can't put them together yet. It's like, well, don't tease me with this stuff. Let me actually put it together. I'm putting this guy back together, though, because I really want to... really want to see what it looks like with the cockpit in place. Gonna try it again here. Oh yeah, there's a little spot, and then this guy held in place in the front. as much as it allows me to do. And so now I can give you a little taste of what the inside's gonna look like. Hey, this is what it would look like if you were in the Millennium Falcon. Woo! Kind of fun, actually. That looks like it's it for the 4 boxes. We have a lot, a few things that they are telling us that don't get assembled and put together just yet, but they will soon. This guy looks like it'll, like I said earlier, just go right around the top of this guy to give us more electronic components. And then the stuff on the sprue does not get put on until issue 7 when we glue. Looks like we're going to be gluing a lot of stuff together in issue 7. So I'm going to put this guy back in the bag so we don't lose any of the little tiny sprue parts on here. Alright, there we go. That's it. That is the Millennium Falcon build for today. Keep your eyes open on the channel for issues 7, 8, 9, and 10, and what gets built in as part of those. In the meantime, stay tuned for the channel, because gotta start painting John McClane. There we go. He's been sanded, and it looks rough, but it's actually pretty smooth. Got to do some painting and get our John McClane statue painted on his base for a little die-hard action. So we'll do that in between while we wait for the next box of stuff to come in from D'Angostini. D'Angostini. I'm going to put a little rubber band on this guy. This might be, if you had Brian drop stuff twice on the channel, well, no, I'm not going to do that. They give you all this stuff that just can't stick together and tell you to play around with it until the next issue when you can start sticking it together. Come on, man. That's not fair. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of the Millennium Falcon build. Stick around for other things coming up on the channel, and thank you for being here. That's it. See you next time.